Hi everyone, it's great to be with you again, and we're going to begin a new series called Dr. Luke, and we'll be studying the Gospel of Luke. Now, just to remind you, Luke was a doctor, a medical doctor, and therefore in his Gospel he records a lot of healings which aren't included in the other Gospels like Matthew, Mark and John, for example. Also, one of the things that's important to remember about the Gospel of Luke is that there are some stories or parables that aren't included in the other Gospels. For example, the parable of the lost son, the parable of the lost coin, and the story of the rich man and Lazarus, for example. Well, the title of today's message is Beware of a Heavy Heart. You know, sometimes when we go through life, we can go through difficulties, we can go through trials, and as we go through these things, often our heart can be filled with sadness and become really, really heavy, and we can lose the joy of the Lord. I'm sure we can all relate to that in some way or another. Well, it says in Luke chapter 21, Jesus here is speaking to his disciples, and he says in verse 34, "Be careful, or your hearts will be weighed down." Now, when Jesus said this, "Be careful, or your hearts will be weighed down," it's in the context of the end times when his disciples, he was saying that you could see lots of things that are happening in the world and your hearts could become weighed down. But for us as Christians today, we can still apply that verse in many ways. We're seeing so many things that are going on in the world today. For example, the coronavirus and the spread of this pandemic. We're seeing the explosion in Lebanon. We've seen the forest fires in Australia. We see all these things, and when we watch them and we hear them all the time, sometimes our hearts can become weighed down, but sometimes it can even be smaller things that can cause our hearts to be weighed down. Sometimes we go through discouragement in life. Sometimes we go through hurt. Sometimes we go through disappointments, and our hearts can become weighed down. We can lose the joy of the Lord, and our fellowship with the Holy Spirit can be broken. That's why Jesus said, "Be careful, or your hearts will be weighed down." I would encourage you today to fix your eyes on Jesus, to thank him, and to not allow your heart to be weighed down. God bless you. Bye.